What's up, my people? This is Trucker G, where I want to be in the truck. Yes, indeed. And just want to say thank you for checking out my video. You know, it's been a long time coming, but I wanted to make sure that what I say has some merit behind from everything I said today, because being a trucker is not an easy job, and trucking ain't for everybody. You feel me? Yeah. So my story begins in 2018, mid-summer, when I joined New England Tractor Trailer School in Connecticut. That was the first school I went to get my CDLA. There was a lot of information at the beginning I didn't know, and I could have went an easy route and went to the different way to get my my CDL. But it is what it is. You live and you learn your lessons, and you keep it moving and pass it on. Well, I went to New England Tractor Trailer School. I was there for like 6 months, 3 months in class, 3 months in driving and techniques that you need for when you apply for a trucking company or anywhere you want to go with it. So I did that. It's boring, the beginning part, but that's when you have to really like put your effort and your mood to do something better in your life. It's basically a whole change of career path, and it's like a leap of faith. You have to jump into it and give it your 100% all to it, like, and never look back. Because if you're not gonna put your whole heart into it, your 100% mind into it, like, and getting your CDL and starting your whole thing, and then don't do it. Don't waste your time. You're gonna waste your time, you waste your money, and then you're gonna end up paying that shit back for no reason. If you're not gonna be 100% on yourself and 100% on your goals and shit, because shit ain't easy. When you go out there after you get your CDLs, it's not gonna be that easy, because you're gonna have to start off low. What we say, you start off like beginning shit. Like, you're gonna have these shitty ass jobs, these shitty ass trucking companies, like, what I mean? Like, everybody goes through it. I went through it. I'm pretty sure you're gonna probably go through it, and you're probably on it right now, trying to wondering like where you want to go after the first company that you signed up. So I did my thing, I did my time. I only been here for I only been using my CDL for almost 2 years and some change right now. And it's been a bumpy ride, because it was a high and low when I was doing this. And I started off maybe like around March. I ended with a company I was with, Snyder. I was there for like 3 weeks. They got this little training course that you go through with them, and and then at the end of the week you go like a test. Your boy didn't make it because I didn't back in twice perfectly, but the rest of the time that I was there, I backed in like on point. But in the test, when it came down to test, I didn't back in correctly. So they wanted me to go back to school to get 40 more hours of school training. And I was like, I went to school for 6 months. I don't think I need that much more training. If you didn't want to hire me because I didn't back in twice, which is crazy to me, because not everywhere you're gonna back up it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be some fucked up backing on parking lots and on fucking warehouses, docks. It's like crazy, these backings. Like, you never know what kind of move you have to do when to back into a dock or a parking spot. So I just said, fuck it. I keep it moving. Never looked back. They try to call me back, but I never looked back. I just kept it moving. You didn't want me, now I'm gonna keep it moving. Simple as that. Because maybe it wasn't meant to be a Snyder employee. So I'm not gonna hate on them because they didn't want me. But that's how life is. You pick and choose your battles. I just choose to leave. before I get back into them. Then after that, I went to a flatbed company. The best decision I ever made, I think, as far as being a rookie in the CDL in the trucking business, like flatbed. If you want to start off big and make the most money and make more money out of your mileage, I think you should apply somewhere that's flatbed company, because you get more money, you get more miles. And if you go somewhere else like Snyder, Warner, and everything, you pretty much start to the bottom of the bracket, and your pay is shit. Basically, you're working back again to like a 9-to-5 job, and you do one of those companies. But if you go to a flatbed company, it's a whole different ball game, and it prepares you for the mentally of a flatbed, because it's an open trailer in your back of your tractor, and you have to focus more on that and pay attention to the road, because shit could go crazy and you could flip that flatbed and over. But that's the risk you take. But the higher the reward is, the risk it comes with it. Like, so if you want to do big, you gotta think about the risk too, because that shit is no joke. I've seen a lot of flatbeds turn because people not paying attention or just on their own business and on the phone and shit. But flatbed it is what it is. So I went to flatbed. I started at PGT Flatbed Company. I mean, there was the first family that took me in and trained me for 6 weeks. I did with 6 different trainers every week. That was the grind I had to put in mentally and prepare myself, because every week it was a different trainer, and the different trainer is like, they have different personality, and they have certain ways to how they cheat you. Some do give a shit about you, and some just be like, whatever, drive, and then that's that. But PGT, like, they took me in, gave me a chance. I did the flatbed in 6 weeks, and after that 6 week, I was waiting for a week, just trying to get my tractor, because they ain't got my tractor ready. Got my tractor after that. I went straight, boom. My terminal, my DOT office was in New Jersey and Trenton. I went in there. I met my manager, who's gonna schedule my work, and then after that, we just kick it off. Like, I kept doing my business. I was going, since I live in Connecticut, and my route normally is going from New Hampshire back down to Pennsylvania, or either a little bit further in, like Delaware, but then coming back in to 95, all the way back up to north to drop off another thing in Massachusetts. And in between, I used to just stop. Instead of sleeping in my cab and sleeping in my truck, I was just stopping in between, because my house is right next to the Pilot. So I just parked the truck in the Pilot and just went home every night. And I worked that in my schedule every night when I was doing the flatbed company with PGT, because they basically had me going up and down 95. So once I already knew about 95, because 95 is notorious highway going from New Hampshire down to Florida. So I had 95 on lockdown, so I already know when there's traffic and when it's backing up and everything. So I know when to leave and when to come home, like, and park. There's certain days I couldn't make it home, so I had to park in the parking lot of the tractor, trucking parking, and just park there and sleep the night in the cab. But then most of the week I'd be back and forth going home. So I was able to flux to go home and see my family and see my kids and my wife every day. So it was like, basically it worked, and not every day was like sunshine and rainbow, Some days would just be tough for me, exactly, because this is a whole new experience for myself. And once you start doing you and start doing your trucking company, like, it's a sacrifice. If you're married and you have your wife and your kids, there's a lot of sacrifice on them, because it's basically more work on for your wife to do with the kids, and you're not going to be home for quite a while, for a week or maybe 2. Just depends on what you do or what company you choose to end up with. I mean, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's not easy for a married couple and with kids. It's not. I ain't gonna bullshit you. Like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna keep it 100. because I had to go through a lot at the same time, and I had to work through it and make sure that my partner understand that trucking is a whole different world, and I'm new and I'm trying to work things out, and little by little I'm gonna achieve my goals, because at the end of the day I'm gonna try to find my own way and have my own company and have my own truck. So it's just, it takes a while. It puts a lot of wear and tear in your body, and a lot of time and effort to make with your family. Is just, I'm saying I'm saying it for real, because it's real. It's real. I can't even talk right now, but I'm telling you, it's for real, yo. And it's different. If you're a single guy, single woman, whatever, you don't have that much of responsibility on your back. Basically, just keep on trucking. You're gonna keep doing miles and miles. You could even go West Coast to East Coast, because you're single. You do what you got to do. You just try and make that bread and come back and flourish and do whatever you want. But I recommend you do that. If you're single, take your time and make your money, because really your only responsibility would be just taking care of your bills and making sure your truck that you got, make it back and forth, like, and then you just stacking up your money to the sky is the limit in trucking, right? Because you could become an owner operator off the back and just pay the bills from your truck, or you could be a company driver and just be working for the company, and that's an equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? It's like half and half. Like, in anything that could happen when you become a company driver, because they can either take you and give you some bullshit, or you just drop you real quick. But if you was an owner operator off the back and you leasing your truck, then you're your own boss. So basically, you don't talk to nobody. You don't have to listen to nobody besides your bookie, whoever you talk to get you your loads or your pickup and your drop off. That's all you talk to, but then the rest is all you. You know, that's the only thing about trucking. Like, it makes your bread. Like, and it's one of the best job you could have to change your life in a whole different direction. Like I said, I've only been doing it for 2 years. And I only been through, let me see, I've been PGT as one company. I went to Warner. This is the thing about Warner. I went to Warner because it was close to my house, and it was around my area in Connecticut. Like, and I had the Dollar Tree account. So basically sometimes every night I have to drive to the Dollar Tree location in Connecticut or some part of tri-state, and park overnight either in their parking lot or somewhere close, and wait for them to come home, to come to work over midnight in the morning to unload the trailers. And you got to unload, you could have like about 4,000 pieces, and you got to unload the back with a rack and some dollies and shit. But it was some hard job. That was a hard job at Warner, like doing the deliveries for these accounts. You really be working hard as fuck. Like, there's no space in betweens of rest or anything. Like, and from my experience when I was there, you know, I bust my ass every day. To order to get paid, you have to do at least about 5 or 4 of trailer each day, one trailer each day, to make the amount of money that you want. Because if not, if you only get stuck with one trailer for 2 days, basically your pay for that day is only been for one pay, because you only did one stop, and you was there for 2 days because Dollar Tree doesn't have enough people to unload you. Some bullshit like that, which I think is kind of crazy, because as a Warner driver company and you work for Warner, not an owner op, they pretty much pay you whatever they feel like. And when I was there, I just felt like it was kind of wrong, because you bust your ass every day, and it's not your fault because they don't have enough people to unload you. They only have one person in the back working, and you got like about 1,600 pieces to deliver to the store, but they only have one person to unload you, and then it's just you and that person. That could take the whole day, and then that'll take your clock, and then you're stuck. And all they're gonna say is, like, well, we're gonna schedule for the next one tomorrow for you can finish that trailer and bring it back, because you won't get paid until you bring the trailer back. That's another thing that's just fucked up too. It's like, it's just crazy, you know. And you don't realize that until you like start working in there for like a month or two, and then you realize what other people was doing to get the money, and really what you was sacrificing a lot more than anybody else in Warner. So I mean, I'm not gonna hate Warner, gonna give you your job, and there's different opportunities always, but it was just, to me, I didn't like the way they paying their company driver. That was just, I think that was straight up trash and bullshit, wasting my time too. Luckily, I went and applied to a different job. I'm right now with U.S. Food in Connecticut, and I'm happy. To be honest with you, this is the best U.S. Food company job as a company truck driver, doing the back hauls in the loop. I'm satisfied, because you're not gonna find a job like this anywhere else. There's rarely that much, but I get paid hourly, and I get per diem, and they put me in a hotel every night. So I'm in like in the day cab, as you see. Every day I go do a drop and pick up, and then at the end of my clock, I go to a hotel, spend the night there. I don't normally stay there for that long. I only stay there until my clock resets, and then I'm off to the next one. And then I go back and do the drop and pick up, and then I'm back in the hotel and still do my workout and all that stuff. I have more rooms to play with. Like, between this job and PGT, the flatbed company, I'm grateful that I had it. And yeah, honestly, I never looked back. Never looked back. I'm glad that to this day, this is around this time that I was getting my CDL, my test, and it's been 2 years already. And I'm happy that I made that decision, because I was working as a contractor, working for cable, for TV and shit, like hooking up Comcast, dealing with people, customers every day, going to dirty ass houses. Some are clean, some are not. Some is fucking bougie. Like, it's crazy. Like, and I'm working my ass off, and just to get like $900, $600 every 2 weeks was kind of like crazy to me, and I was getting tired of it. Like, and I was there for like 4 years doing those contracting jobs and being a cable man, like cable guy, like, until one day I fucked up playing basketball, hurt my knee, gotta have the surgery, so I was out of work. Within them 6 months, I started thinking about, what should I do? Should I go back, or should I just go fuck it and go to CDL school and get my CDLs and make this money? Because I've been like, I'm just like you, doing research on YouTube, trying to find if CDL and being a truck driver was worth it. And when I came to find out, it was 6 months that I was fucking holed up in the bed because my knee, I had surgery and shit. When I learned about everything in the trucking industry and how everything works and how much money you make, it was no brainer. I said, fuck it, let's do it. I did that. I did the school during the day, and I worked at night at a third shift overnight at a factory job while I'm going to school. I go to school during the day. The nets, I was going from 12 to 5, and then I go to work at 11 to 7, or it was 10 to 7, whatever, overnight. Then I only had like 5 or 6 hours of sleep in between, and then go to school. So every time I went to school, I just pay attention, try to do my thing, did the course driving. When I went overnight, I really didn't care about overnight job, because it was just to hold me down and pay the bills while I'm going to school during the day. That was my only two options. Of that, it was just my wife, I would have to pay for everything, and that would have put her a lot of burden on her. So I made it easy myself and work overnight and go to school during the day and still handle my business. So, because you got to think shit through, because sometimes you just got to do a lot of sacrifices just the sacrifice what makes it worth, because you know you're going somewhere, you're doing something, you're making moves. Like, you're not sitting around like these other motherfuckers, like just sitting around and bullshit and talk shit about their jobs and talk about their employees and blah blah blah, how miserable they are, la la la, and then you just stuck in that so fucking cycle. Like, you stuck in that cycle every single time. You hate this. You wake up every morning, you're late, you don't want to go, you just, it's bullshit. Like, so that's why I decided to do what I want to do and make a change in my life, because if not, then it's gonna be some bullshit. So to this day, 2020, 2 years into this bitch, and if I could go back and tell myself when I was basically 20, because that's when you have to be 20 to do out on the to do what you call it, to travel around the state. You have to be at least 20 to 21 older. But if I was back then, if I would have told my 20-year-old self, I was like, yo, go to CDL, fuck Lincoln Tech, don't be an electrician, go be a truck driver, I would have just told him to do that instead of doing that and being an electrician, and find out you can't have a job as an electrician because you don't have experience. You have school experience, but you don't have experience. And then they were talking about, oh, but you can't work. But if I can't work with you and I got school experience, I need experience for work, and you can't hire me, a lot of bullshit, you know what I mean though. But like I said, when I started my CDL journey, never looked it back. I took a leap of faith. I jumped. I went in and just made a change for my whole family. Now I'm doing better. Now I'm trying to go to the next step. I'm just prepping my next step and just making sure that I could provide for my family, and making sure that I could go up a level. Because once I'm done, I could go to my own business and my own trucking and my own truck, and I could have my friends that decides to come and join me, and we could be a group of truckers in one company, under one company name, and still make our own run. I mean, I'll be beautiful and blessed, but everybody have to make that decision, and everybody have to make that choice on their own. So if this is what you really want to do, to be a truck driver, you hear it from me. It's the best thing you could ever do to change your life and make more money. Don't bullshit. Don't waste your time if you're not into it. If you're not ready for this road life, because this shit gets real when you out here on the road with other truck drivers and other four-wheelers and driving around you. Because basically what they say to you in the school, like, we are the king on the road as a truck driver, because we control most of the highways and we control most of the states. Because without truck drivers, you won't have your PlayStation 5, you won't have your furniture in your house, you won't have your groceries in your house, because we basically the bloodline, the blood vessels. And without us, you won't be able to get anything that you want in your crib. Everything in your crib was all shipped out in the truck, in the trailer, in the boat, in the plane. And who have to move all that? Us truck drivers. Think about that. We always on demand. You don't believe how many phone calls and emails I get from all the truck companies that want to get me now because I'm 2 years in the business. Now they want to holler at me. When I was 6 months only, or just beginning of my journey, no truck company wanted to holler at me. That's another thing. You just gotta be careful where you go, because sometimes some truck companies don't want to keep you because you don't have that experience. But once you do, the freaking doors open. It's a floodgate after that, because now everybody wants you. Even the owner operator wants you to drive their truck. It's just shit crazy. It's just, once you get your experience, it's like, put it like this: there's truck drivers, there's nurses, doctors, policemen, firemen, and politicians and governments and stuff like that. And those are the breadwinners. basically, from what I think, you know. Truck drivers, nurses, doctors, policemen, firemen, government, and constructions, breadwinners. You see all of them, they're making money. And that's when I jumped from being a cable guy to a truck driver, and I saw the difference between, like, it was day and night. And when I was in the cable company, I was only making about 40, maybe 30 yearly gross. Now within this 2 years, and then when I started this job, this new company, my yearly gross went up 20 to 30. Now I could be making, without this whole COVID-19 shit happening, but I was on the road to making about 100,000 yearly gross. I mean, not because of that furlough shit I had to take. I had to sit home for 6 months. I don't lie. That was the six months of vacation I ever had in my entire life, because I always worked since I got out of high school. Never took a week off or a whole month of vacation to not to do anything. But it was a nice reset for my body. It was the great reset. But I was ready to go to work after the 3rd month, not 6. But whatever. You live and you learn. But I took that as a rest. And like I said, I'm up and coming right now, bro. It's just mad companies calling me now, emailing me, want me to work for them. But I'm loyal to this company that I'm with now, because they was treating me right before this whole COVID-19 came. And they was treating me right. And I'm glad and I'm happy that US Food let me stay with them after that COVID furlough. And they let me still join. I'm proud and happy to be with them, and I mean, until the next time. But I'll let you be. You make your own decision. Just make sure that you're 100%, because if you go 50 or 25, it's just basically you wasting your time. You're really gonna get nothing. You just gotta set your mind to it, like it's 100% all in. Give it to you all, sacrifice and everything. Because God will test you. He will test you. He will throw you mad problems in front of you, and try to make you seem that that doesn't want you to get your CDLs, but he's really just trying to test you. He's trying to prove to you that if you go through these obstacles and you overcome it, that pot of gold at the end is gonna be satisfied, because then you'll be making money with us. Until then, Trucker G, the only place I want to be is in the truck, and you already know. Holla, baby.